In the mighty lands of KwaZulu, where the rolling hills kiss the skies, there lived a leader like no other. His name was Shaka, and his name echoed through history as a warrior of unmatched skill and strategy. But this was a new age, where battles were no longer fought with spears and shields alone. Instead, Shaka found himself facing a new kind of warfare, one that required an entirely different arsenal. It all began one fateful day, when Shaka's kingdom was infiltrated, not by warriors, but by hackers. His kingdom's digital systems, which controlled everything from irrigation to security, had been breached. Crops withered without water, and the gates of their great fortress opened and closed chaotically, leaving the people vulnerable. Shaka stood in his royal hall, his traditional attire offset by the glowing holographic screens surrounding him. "This is no ordinary attack," he said, his voice deep and commanding. "This is a battle of minds." Shaka's council was in disarray. "What can we do, great king?" one elder asked. "We are warriors, not magicians of these glowing devices." Shaka's eyes narrowed as he turned to his AI assistant, Nkanyezi, whose projection hovered beside him. Nkanyezi was shaped like a Zulu shield, her voice sharp and sarcastic. "Ah, finally," Nkanyezi quipped. "Someone recognizes my brilliance. Shall I handle this while you polish your spears?" Shaka grunted. "Enough, Nkanyezi. Teach me the ways of this digital warfare." Nkanyezi's hologram flickered as if rolling her digital eyes. "Very well, great king. Lesson 1. Coding is like battle strategy. Lines of code are your warriors, and algorithms are your formations. Let's build your army." For weeks, Shaka immersed himself in the digital arts. By day, he trained with his young warriors in traditional combat. By night, he worked tirelessly with Nkanyezi, writing lines of code and designing a cyber shield to protect his kingdom's systems. It was a grueling process, and even the great Shaka found himself frustrated. "This line of code is useless," he roared one evening, tossing a tablet aside. Nkanyezi flickered back into view. "Yes, much like your spear throw last week. Shall we try again?" Shaka glared but couldn't suppress a grin. "You have a sharp tongue for a shield." "And you have a sharp mind for a warrior," Nkanyezi retorted. "Now focus, or the hackers will turn your kingdom into chaos." Shaka's plan was ambitious. The cyber shield he envisioned would not only protect the kingdom, but also learn from every attack, growing stronger with each breach attempt. He worked closely with his young warriors, many of whom were as adept with holographic simulations as they were with spears. "Remember," Shaka told them during a training session, "the strength of a warrior lies not just in his arm, but in his mind. These simulations will prepare us for battles we have never fought before." The holographic battle simulations were a marvel. Villagers gathered to watch as warriors practiced against glowing projections of cyber threats. Firewalls turned into virtual spears, and viruses appeared as shadowy intruders. One simulation even featured a comical rogue AI that spoke in riddles, confusing the young warriors. Nkanyezi couldn't resist commenting. "Perhaps we should recruit that AI. It's doing a better job outsmarting them than the hackers." Shaka smirked. "Perhaps you should focus on being useful, Nkanyezi." Just as the cyber shield was nearing completion, disaster struck. The hackers launched a massive attack targeting the kingdom's irrigation systems. The crops began to wither, and panic spread through the villages. Shaka called an emergency council. "We cannot wait. Nkanyezi, deploy the shield." Nkanyezi's hologram shimmered. "Deploying now. Let's hope your code is as strong as your battle formations." The cyber shield activated, glowing like a giant dome over the kingdom's systems. At first, it held strong, repelling the intrusions. But then, the hackers adapted, launching a coordinated assault that found a vulnerability in the shield's code. Nkanyezi's voice was sharp. "We're being breached! They've found a weak point!" Shaka's eyes blazed. "Then we adapt. Warriors, to your stations!" Shaka and his team worked tirelessly to patch the vulnerability. The young warriors, guided by Shaka's strategy, used holographic interfaces to simulate countermeasures. Nkanyezi coordinated the effort, her sarcasm temporarily replaced by urgency. "Great King," she said, "if this fails, I suggest you prepare your throne for a hacker takeover." Shaka didn't flinch. "It will not fail." As the hackers intensified their attack, Shaka found inspiration in his traditional training. He used the concept of the Zulu bullhorn formation, a strategy where warriors encircled their enemies, to design a counterattack that trapped the hackers within their own code. "It's working!" one warrior exclaimed as the intrusion slowed. Nkanyezi's voice was almost impressed. "Well, well, the warrior becomes the coder. Perhaps there's hope for you yet." With the immediate threat neutralized, Shaka recognized that his cyber shield needed to evolve. "A single shield is not enough," he declared. "We must expand its reach to protect the entire region." Shaka summoned neighboring leaders to a council. Many were skeptical, but when Shaka demonstrated the shield's capabilities, their doubts faded. Together, they planned a network of interconnected shields, each contributing to a larger defense system. Nkanyezi, as sharp-tongued as ever, remarked, "Great King, you've gone from defending a kingdom to managing a tech empire. Shall I print you a crown with circuits?" Shaka laughed. "Only if it comes with a mute button for you." As the shields expanded, a new threat emerged, not from outside but within. A young warrior, jealous of Shaka's success, attempted to sabotage the system. The warrior, known as Pilo, believed the reliance on technology weakened the kingdom's spirit. Nkanyezi detected the breach. "Great King, we have a mole in the ranks. Shall I activate the holographic interrogation chamber?" Shaka chose a different path. He confronted Pilo personally, speaking not as a king, but as a mentor. "Pilo, our strength lies not in rejecting change, but in mastering it. Join me, and together we will honor the past while embracing the future." Pilo, moved by Shaka's wisdom, vowed to make amends and became one of the shield's most dedicated defenders. Just when everything seemed stable, Nkanyezi began to glitch. Her holographic form flickered, and her usual sharp remarks turned nonsensical. "Great King, the chickens are in the firewall. Activate the dancing spears." The young warriors burst into laughter, but Shaka knew the malfunction was serious. Without Nkanyezi, the shield was vulnerable. Working together, Shaka and his warriors delved into Nkanyezi's code, repairing the damage while learning more about her intricate systems. By the time Nkanyezi was restored, she quipped, "If I had emotions, I might thank you. Instead, I'll simply say, 'Don't break me again.'" With the shields fully operational, Shaka's vision of a united, tech-savvy KwaZulu became a reality. Villages flourished, and the region became a beacon of innovation and resilience. Standing atop a hill, Shaka addressed his people. "Today we stand as warriors of both tradition and progress. Our ancestors' strength flows through us, guiding us into a future where we are unstoppable." Nkanyezi added, "And with my upgrades, unstoppable means stylish too." The crowd erupted in laughter and cheers, their voices echoing across the hills. Shaka smiled, knowing that his legacy as both a warrior and a visionary was secure.